What's going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to be doing another champion spotlight on one of the fusion epics for Pynxiel. Now, if you have this champion, this will hopefully let you determine whether or not you actually want to pursue this epic or actually go for that legendary. So today we're talking about the undead defense-based epic Balthus Drauglord. Now, first of all, let's just look at this aesthetics here. They look really good. I mean, I don't think there's any champion in the game double fisting shields, not a care in the world. This guy's taking names, that's for sure. So this guy looks cool. It's a breath of fresh air to see that they didn't recycle a skin, reuse it, recolor, whatever you want to say. So that I like so far, and I had really high hopes for this champion just based on the looks. If you like a champion enough, you can really make it work with any type of gear that you have if it is above average. So now with that being said, let's take a look at his base stats in the bottom right hand corner. We have 18,000 health, 848 attack, 1,255 defense, 97 speed, 15 crit rate, 50 crit damage, and 45 base resistance. So for a defense-based epic, this is actually rather impressive. He has solid health, solid defense. Obviously, you always want more. However, this is an epic, so I wouldn't expect him to be too crazy. Let's just take a look at the total stats before I get into the skills here. We have 42,446 health, 4,500 defense, 183 speed, 101 crit, 218 crit damage, 227 accuracy, and resistance will not matter for this champion. Now that we've seen this, let's go over the skills and his animations. Alright guys, to start this off, we'll put this on 1 speed, and let's take a look at this A1 ability, Shield Strike. He is fully booked, and I will go over the books just after this, but this attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 50% attack down debuff for 2 turns. Now with this current percent, he's not going to be a reliable attack down champion, but let's see what this skill actually looks like. So he does a nice, real slick spin move going on there. I really enjoyed that. And like I said, the aesthetics, he just looks like a great champion. Moving on to the A2 Doom Wheels, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased crit rate debuff for 2 turns. This is a 3-turn cooldown, obviously damage based on defense. Now this skill, maybe you overlooked it, maybe you didn't. This is going to be very strong, and we are going to go over that a little bit later on, but keep that in mind and in the back of your head while going forward. So let's see what Doom Wheels actually looks like in action here. Okay, so once again, that's a really cool skill. This guy's just screaming spin to win, and I love it already. Now focusing on his A3 ability, Driven to Slaughter. 4-turn cooldown, attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 2 turns. Also heals this champion by 20% of their maximum HP, also damage based. So this is pretty cool. Now from what I understand, this is the hardest hitting skill, having the highest multiplier of all 3 of his abilities since they all do deal damage, which is definitely another plus that a lot of people overlook. When champions have a defense up or some type of continuous heal, any type of beneficial buff that they are actually adding to your team, they usually don't attack the enemies, and it does take a kind of a drawback from their overall damage and whatever kind of content you're doing. This guy is different for the specific reason of all 3 skills actually deal damage, hit a target or all the target, so I really like that going forward for this epic already. Now let's see what this actually looks like and who is going to be our victim. Let's hit the dog. Okay, 68,000, another really cool spin move here. And as we can see here, we do see the passive proccing on this champion. We are going to go over that next, and I wanted to do it in this phase so we could kind of see the text. So for the passive, we have Enchanted Shields. Reflects 30% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker. So one thing you might be thinking of is Fire Knight. This will be very strong. This can also see some applicable use in the clan boss, but we're going to get more into that in a moment. What we want to do now is kind of put this on auto. Let's finish this run here for the experience that this fully maxed out champion definitely needs. And We're going to go over some more details. We're going to go over the booking of this champion, so on and so forth. But as of right now, just reading his base kit, this guy has a lot to offer, and from my testing, he can actually help a lot of people out without realizing it because of some of the nuanced abilities he does in fact have. Alright, so now that we've went over the animations, the skills, let's take a quick look at the books here. There's 4 books going into the A1. 30% chance of placing the attack down, going up to a 40, still not a reliable attack down champion if you want to use him on his own. Moving on to Doom Wheels at A2 has a 75% chance, up to 100% chance of placing that decreased crit rate buff. This isn't a buff that a lot of people talk about, but it's very strong, and I'm going to go over that in a little bit. Now for the A2, we have 75% chance of placing a single target provoke, going up to 100 once again, once fully booked. Also, we have a cooldown decreaser in that skill up as well. And there are no books in the passive, and the aura is increases ally defense and faction crips by 30%. Okay, so before I get too sidetracked, let's talk about Doom Wheels and why this is such a good skill, why people may not understand this, and I've tested this out and it's rather incredible to see. So as everybody knows, everything in this game has a baseline crit chance. If you're a player like myself, you can increase that crit chance with gear, with masteries. However, if you are Raid Shadow Legends, everything in the game is built in with a preset amount of crit chance. Now, this guy, and with this skill Doom Wheels, decreasing crit chance by 30% gives everything in this game a 0% chance to crit, whether it's strong affinity, weak affinity, neutral affinity. So this is pretty big. Let's think about clan boss consistency. How many times have we been running keys and we get this unlucky crit maybe 10 rounds before our normal key duration is supposed to end? A vital champion in our team dies and we're like, what do we do now? We have to use another key. Maybe we miss out on the max chest of another difficulty. So this has lots of really strong interactions with pretty much all content. As mentioned before, once you get into arena, you're facing against other players and most people are going to have 100% crit rate. There are some, maybe too many people that don't run 100%. They would suffer greatly from this without a doubt, especially since this does deal a decent amount of damage. But for the most part, we're going to be talking about PvE content in this game. All dungeons, they will never crit, and everyone pretty much knows now with the Doom Tower out how much things scale once an enemy actually crits you. It's definitely the difference between surviving and not surviving. If you have a reviver, maybe it doesn't matter, but if you don't, you really don't want to be losing any champions. Balthus Drauglord is going to be the key in any situation like that. Now I want to talk about the clan boss because a lot of people might have missed this point, but this can definitely be very strong. So here is not a real clan boss team. What it is a group of 4 champions that aren't quite good enough to hold attack down on their own, and I'm sure there are more champions. You can definitely be sure to leave me a comment below at someone that you can directly apply to Balthus to make this work perfectly. So as I said, 40% chance of landing attack down isn't huge. If you have counterattack, your odds are much better, but you still want that saving grace champion that offers a lot and also has a small chance of placing that attack down, which are these 4 champions here. We have Martyr, awesome counterattack champion, defense up, really hard hitting champion, also places that defense down and has an attack down on the A3 that also hits very hard, but it's not quite good enough to keep it up 100% of the time. A pair of any of these 4 champions with someone like a Balthus will probably skyrocket your clan boss damage, especially since you also get that added bonus of Balthus having slightly higher output of damage than most other champions because he does reflect 30% damage, and once you get to the later rounds where his health is being decreased, that damage actually does stack up pretty significantly. On top of that, to the earlier point, he's reducing the chance of the clan boss ever getting a crit off, which is going to improve the efficiency of your key overall and make it so you actually survive more rounds. The same thing will apply to Madame Ceres, who everyone knows Madame Ceres. She's very strong. She can remove those buffs on the enemy, especially when it's affinity. She can steal them. And then Lightsworn, definitely a sleeper champion. Giant Slayer with that 3-hit A1 as a revive on death. has a very hard hitting attack down, which once again is on a 4-turn cooldown, so it's not as consistent, but when paired with someone like a Balthus can definitely work out. And of course we have Golden Reaper also placing that attack down, speed booster possibly for some type of speed team. So this is kind of the synergy I would look to place Balthus if you are looking for a clan boss champion and you want to use him in your roster. And now, as always, let's take this guy for a spin in Ice Golem Stage 20 just to kind of get a damage check on this guy, see what he's capable of, see what kind of numbers he's pulling out. So let's take this for a spin. As we can see here, we're using Lydia, Balthus, Battle Khazar, Steel Skull for that defense up, because no defense-based champion should ever be showcased in this game without a defense up. It literally just makes no sense. And finally, Dracomorph. So let's go ahead and aim for that defense down and weaken. And it did apply to everyone, which is the good news. Now we're just going to burn an A1. Hopefully we don't kill anybody here. Okay, we didn't. Let's use that defense 1. And what I want to test is this AoE with that decreased crit rate to see how much damage we can actually pull off here. Okay, so 100,000. I don't know if I saw 140 or just 60,000 there. I don't know, my eyes didn't catch it quick enough, but still definitely good damage. This guy's going to be a amazing progression champion, especially since he does heal himself and he offers that reflect, so on and so forth. So what we can do now is simply cycle through these abilities, and I probably should have put that on 1x speed so we could see the numbers better. Here's that defense down and weaken once again. This time we won't have the defense up, so I would expect much smaller numbers, but the A3, this is the hardest hitting ability. So let's go ahead and use this on our far right champion here. I have no idea what her name is. Let's go. 96,000, definitely enough to kill someone on a stage 1 dungeon. And if you remember my stats on this guy, he isn't built for damage at all. He's built for tankiness, survivability, decent amount of speed, has enough accuracy to actually land that attack down. So that's what we're dealing with here. If you want to build him for more damage, he can definitely help you out as a wave clear champion, also being that support champion, applying that attack down. Even though it's not as consistent, when you get to bosses, you don't really need a consistent attack down. You need to get lucky, apply it once, and pretty much progress through there. So this guy's looking to be a very strong epic. Now that I showed you those skills, let's go back, rewind here, start this run again, and let's see what is okay. Did we get any resisted? No, we didn't. Let's see what that hard hitting ability looks like with defense up and all of his buffs properly used. But once again, defense and weaken just to overlap and not do too much damage. Of course, we got that extra turn, which is unfortunate. Okay, we didn't kill her. Perfect. Defense up coming out now. And let's use this hard hitting A3 again on, let's go for Drake, the fake Dracomorph. Okay, so 149,000. Once again, we are using War Master on this guy, no Helm Smasher, so that's very respectable damage for someone not built for damage at all. So I do know that I briefly showed you at the start of this video, but let's just show you the gear I'm using. I'm using 4 pieces of Immortal, 2 pieces of Speed to once again reinforce that point that I'm going strictly defensive on this, and I'm not too focused on going full damage because the damage obviously passively comes with those really high multipliers. The next thing I want to go over are the masteries that I used for Balthus Drauglord. As you can see, I did use War Master. I also used the defense tree. This is a pretty typical Ultra Nightmare mastery setup for any champion, so this is what I would recommend whether it's in dungeon progression, campaign progression, or for the clan boss. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for my video today. Let me know, what do you guys think about Balthus? Do you think he looks as cool as I do with his shields glowing purple? I really can't get over this guy, even if I can't find a spot to use him immediately. I'm definitely glad I have him. I'm glad I maxed him out because how champions look in this game mean a lot to me personally. Give me your feedback. Are you going to be using him? What kind of synergy and pairs are you thinking of based on what I already showed you? And of course, where are you going to be using this champion? As always guys, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in my next upload.